Jesus wasn't contradicting himself at the end of Luke 17, verse 20 through 37. The Pharisees asked Jesus, when will the kingdom come? And he said, hey, it doesn't come with observation because the kingdom is within you. And then after that, he turns to his disciples and he say, the days will come where you desire to see the Son of Man and it will not come. And he says the same thing, as lightning flashes from one part of heaven to the other part of heaven, then that's when the coming of Son of Man will appear. And basically what he was saying was like, that was his parable for an internal reality. And that's what people don't understand. They really want to make it an external reality. Jesus isn't going to say, hey, the kingdom doesn't come with observation, and then turn around and say that it actually does come with observation. I think everybody kind of misses that point, but that was the point he was trying to make. It's an internal reality, and here's why. I mean, don't you think that the creator of the whole universe would have an advanced understanding of neuroscience and how the brain works and how our internal reality operates? Of course. So when we look at that from the two hemispheres of the brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, and we see that one hemisphere is ours and one is God's, and we have that corpus callosum separating the two, and that lightning is that electricity and the neurotransmitters that flashes across. It's crazy, and it actually is something that really happens, and we just don't surrender to it because we want the Bible and Jesus to be this intellectual reality as opposed to this internal reality where we are becoming conformed to the pattern of his image, which is perfection, and we just never chase that. So I really wanted to bring that point home with actually exposing what he's talking about in Luke 17, and here's why. Because they actually always try to disguise the truth. If you go into the New International Version, in Luke 17:21, it says the kingdom is in your midst. And we all kind of have that feeling when we read that that's more of an external reality than an internal one, and so anyone using the New International Version is going with that, but also so do the Jehovah's Witnesses. I wanted to look at how they changed it, and they changed it doesn't come with observation to the kingdom doesn't come with striking observableness. I can't even get those words out. It's horrible, but it says the same thing. The kingdom is in your midst. It changes that within you part, and we really got to focus on that, because that's the whole point of the end of Luke 17 is he's saying that kingdom is not coming like that. And it's the same thing where he says, first he may suffer many things before, and that's what happens with us is all the old stuff in us has to suffer and die before God can take over. And there is that tipping point where God does take over. It changes. It really does change your whole internal reality. But the big reason that I wanted to make this video is to just bring home that reality that this is how the Bible works. It's an internal reality, and our Creator knew all that, and he made sure that all of it was in the Bible. I mean, you just can't ignore these things, Bill Donahue really helped bring a lot of these topics home, and in his day, he didn't have the advanced understanding of neuroscience we do now, but I mean, we are already pretty far along at that point, but it wasn't discovering new information, it was just uncovering stuff that's already been there. That truth has always been there. It's an eternal truth, and we can't ignore that. Like we did come with an instruction manual, but we were taught to ignore that instruction manual. And that's the whole problem with modern church and modern religion is it gets us only to focus on half the equation instead of the whole equation. And when we start to put the other half in, it solves this part of the equation. We make our intellect the master when we got to yoke our intellect to Jesus. And that's how we yoke our intellect to love and compassion and peace and calm and all those fruits of the Spirit. That's how it actually changes us. Because I mean, if you look, most people in church, they're not experiencing those fruits. Some people are, but most people aren't. It's because they're not being taught how to cultivate those fruits inside. It's like any other tree. Like the fruit's not just going to grow on its own. It needs water and sunlight and nutrients from the soil and good deep roots. It needs all these things to become what it is. And that's what we do. And that's how we have to use the Bible to plant those fruits in us and grow those fruits in us. It just works that way. That's why Jesus really brought home that the kingdom's within us. So I really hope that this made sense for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Please go into the interlinear and look up the word within. I think it's ento or something in the Greek. It means within. It's inside. You can't change it to around us and amidst. It's actually the same thing in John 1. It says, the word became flesh and dwelt among us. That word is the same word. very close to it. It's N-E-N, in, not among or around. You know, that's how the subtle changes are, that they're really pushing the kingdom outside. So I hope you found this video helpful. Have a great day.